Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the Aqua 1 Mini Reef 90, and today in this video I want to show you something that I added in a few weeks ago but never actually showed you in the previous video because I just didn't really get around to it. So I'm going to show you right now. It's right in the middle of the tank. Let's get a closer look. So right there, that is the first bit of coral that I've ever added into the tank. As you can see, it's not doing too good. That's to two reasons. One being the lights, because as I mentioned in the previous video, if you look around the tank, mainly like the back wall, a little bit on the rocks, on the sand as well, we've got a bit of a Dinoflagellates issue, which is very common with early tanks. This tank's about 4 months old now, and you know, I did expect something like this to come along at some point. We've just had cyanobacteria. I managed to clear that up pretty quickly. Now we're dealing with the dinos. So did say that I need to increase my nutrients for that. You have to, because they like to they thrive on like really low nutrient tanks. This is pretty much zeroed out, so I'm trying to increase them. Also high intensity of light as well. So what I've done is I've really taken the lights down to about 10 watts of power. So obviously the light hasn't been enough for that coral to stay alive. And another thing as well is lots of this, all this stringy Dinoflagellates keeps getting like caught. As you can see, there is still some on it. Kind of gets caught on it, and it's like suffocated it. So it's obviously started it to bleach out. You can see like right at the base, and then all on the tips, it's all white. There's a tiny bit of brown on it, but it's virtually dead. You can still see a few polyps on it. But it probably won't make it. Not that I'm massively fussed, because I only put it in this tank for a little experiment. That was simply to see whether or not I could actually keep coral in here alive. And obviously, I mean, it was doing fine for a few weeks, and then I had this dinos issue, and then I had to decrease the light schedule a lot, and I completely forgot about the coral, and it hasn't really done so well with the really low light intensity and having all that dinos all like wrapped around it and kind of suffocating it. So obviously it's pretty much gone now, so it doesn't really bother me that much, since I didn't really want this is a green Hystrix coral, by the way. I didn't really want a green Hystrix in this tank anyway. I only put it in there for an experiment, so I did just get this frag out of my dad's tank. He's still got some in his tank as well, so if I wanted any more in the future I could grab some off him, but I'm really not looking into some green Hystrix for this tank. I want to try and focus on some of the other kind of colours and corals apart from green. I want to try and avoid green as much as I can, because most corals are green. So I'd like to have some purple, some pinks, a lot of red, and obviously I will have a couple green in here, but I want to stay away from it as much as I can. And there's also something else I didn't mention in the previous video, but if you look at the back here, if you look right in the centre of the screen, that is a peppermint shrimp, which I had quite a few of them in my previous tank, and I've got this one from my dad's tank now, and I've just added him in here since he's got really nowhere else to go, hoping to help with some of the aptasias. But to be fair, the Dinoflagellates has actually helped out with that, since they keep getting caught up in the aptasias. Like this was an aptasia right here, and you can see what's happened to it. It's pretty much dead now because all the dinos has just killed it. So I did have quite a few of them knocking around in here, all over the rocks, even the glass as well, and in the sand. But a lot of them have gone now because the dinos have actually suffocated them and killed them, which has done me a favour really. So clearly the tank isn't quite ready for coral yet, but I'm sure it will be within the next 3 months, and then I'll get a lot of my coral frags off my dad's tank. I'll just get loads of frags off him and just chuck them in here, and hopefully they do alright. Another thing I wanted to quickly say is the cleanup crew that I've added to this tank over the past couple of weeks, which is the sand sifting starfish. That's half buried in the sand there. We've got a Mexican turbis now, conch snail, and obviously the peppermint shrimp that I just showed you. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's it. That's all the cleanup crew. It's actually doing a really good job. Obviously, you can, apart from the Dinoflagellates, obviously I don't think they'll eat that, but I did have a bit of a hair algae issue. The Mexican turbis now really took care of that, and the sand sifting starfish is constantly moving, shuffling through the sand, searching for food, and is really trying to do its job to keep it clean. The conch snail is actually at work as we speak. As you can see, it's eating off the rock at the moment. Actually, it's sort of trying to eat. You see all that green? Obviously, it's eating all of that off the rock. One thing that I have done is the power head in the corner, which is a J-Cod SOW8, has a maximum flow power of 8,500 litres an hour, which is more than enough for this tank. I've just upped the flow on it to try and circulate a little bit more flow around the tank, so it doesn't give a chance for the Dinoflagellates to populate on the rocks. And I will give a quick update on that right now, that it is actually, over the past week of not having the skimmer on, feeding heavier, I'm pretty sure that the nutrients must have gone up a little bit, because the amount of dinos in the tank has massively reduced. You can see from the previous video, there is all the stringiness. There is still quite a lot of brown string everywhere, but it's a lot shorter and there isn't as much of it. Still quite a bit in the sand though, annoyingly. So by the looks of it, this should start clearing up. I'm hoping most of it's gone within the next 10 days, and if not, then we'll have to try a different method of clearing it up. As for the Bangai cardinal fish that are in this tank, I really didn't think they'd be particularly happy with the elevated flow, because I'm just slowly pushing it up. It's on, well, 3 of the dots are on, so it's probably pushing a couple thousand, maybe a few thousand litres an hour, and plus the return pump as well. I didn't think they'd be happy with that, with the amount of flow in here, because Bangai cardinal fish really don't like high flow, especially, but this is going to be an SPS tank, so I'm hoping they'll cope decently well. But with the flow that's in there at the moment, and there is a few thousand litres an hour running, they're actually they're out all the time, swimming about. They swim up against the flow. They really don't seem to mind it at all, and they're really enjoying this tank. Okay, I think we're going to leave this video here. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and as for next week, I'm hoping that the trying to raise the nutrients in the tank is going to make a big impact on reducing the Dinoflagellates, because it's not pretty to look at all this brown stringiness all over the back wall. It's not so much on the rocks, it's mainly just on the back glass, the overflow blocks, and it's a lot in the sand as well. I guess we're just going to have to probably test my nitrates and phosphates over the next couple of days to see what they're at, and I'd like to get them around 10. And if I've still got a problem, then we're going to have to try a different method of removing them. So I guess you'll see the impact on next week's video. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.